Today, I will dictate you from Progressive Magazine exercise number 4 and 5 together. Ready? Start. You may balance them and say that one argument is stronger than the other, but generally, if the case of one side appears better, the case of the other side seems pretty good too. Maps and census figures have become the fashion now. Are we to weigh in a balance how many individuals speak one language and how many speak another? It will lead to all kinds of fantastic situations. I submit that we must consider this matter separately from the question of language. Of course, all the great languages of India, which are mentioned in the Constitution, have to be developed. I would go a step further and say that even those in the northeast frontier area and elsewhere ought to be developed. Further, the development of one language should not be and cannot be at the expense of the other. I am convinced that the development of any one of the great languages of India helps the development of the other languages. It is my privilege, however unworthy I might be, of being the president of the Sahitya Academy, started a year or two ago, where we deal with all the languages of India and try to encourage them. The more we discuss this matter, the more we see that encouragement, development, and growth of one language result in advantage to the other Indian languages also. Next para. Going one more step, I would say that the knowledge of a foreign language helps the growth of an Indian language. If we are cut off from foreign languages, we are cut off from the ideas that are contained in those foreign languages and from technology, which is part of modern life. Therefore, let us not think of excluding a language. Quite frankly, I do not understand the way some people are afraid of the Urdu language. I am proud to speak Urdu and I hope to continue to speak Urdu. I just do not understand why, in any state in India, people should consider Urdu a foreign language or something which invades their own domain. Urdu is a language mentioned in our constitution. I object to any narrow mindedness in regard to Urdu. Next para. It is no use dragging philology into these language controversies. Take the Punjabi language. We have heard learned arguments about the origin of Punjabi and the Gurumukhi script and how far it is connected with Hindi and so on, as if the source was of paramount significance. What matters is what people do today. Let scholars go into the past of Gurumukhi and Hindi. If people in the Punjab or elsewhere wish to use it, let them use. Next para. May I refer briefly to the question of the state's reorganization which has been discussed here during the last 4 days. I have been greatly distressed about much that has happened. It has caused me much unhappiness and produced in me a sense of failure which I do not often have. However, what has worried me and distressed me most is not so much the actual occurrences as the growth of a spirit of violence all over the country, or at any rate in parts of it. The attempt to settle problems by violent methods is, I think, very bad for this country, regardless of the merits of any cause. Once you enter the region of trying to settle problems by violent methods, you go towards something that is perilously near to civil war. Next para. Our country, with all its faults, has shown to the world a certain stability, certain peace, a certain measure of progress, and thereby established a certain reputation. This reputation is based on some fundamental characteristics. If we enter the region of violent explosions simply because dislike this thing or that, then we lose not only our reputation but something much more important than that. Next para. Are we going to become the type of country where every other month one hears of some kind of a violent revolution? That is not democracy, but something which is the very reverse of democracy. Apart from that, it is a complete denial of any idea of measured or ordered progress. I can understand an attitude, and I believe that some people hold that attitude that nothing can be achieved by these slow democratic or parliamentary methods, that nothing can be achieved by peaceful methods, that in fact nothing can be achieved if one goes about it step by step, that one must break everything and produce some kind of a clean slate to start afresh on. I do not agree with such an attitude. I think it is a matter for the Lok Sabha to consider very carefully where all this is leading us to, quite apart from the state's reorganization report. Next para. In great cities and elsewhere, there are always anti-social elements, gundas, and the like. One can deal with them if society generally disapproves of them, as it does. But when society approves of violent methods, then the gundas can immediately have the chance of their lifetime.